Still looking to earn your invite for the free Players Championship? Visit ppgeventmanagement.com to learn about the different qualifiers available. From one-day events to play-on-your-own-schedule events, all events offer a buyback or cash option along with a 100% credit option redeemable towards any future pre-order at competitive prices. Grinding and getting paid to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Has never been easier. Play with the most professional worldwide tournament series today and join the online community. Come join us on Discord for assistance, info, and even discussions about future events.
This happens. For what it's worth, Golden Hair matches up very well against Silquidius because it can be special summoned from the hand by discarding a Plunder Patrol. If that effect is negated, it goes to the graveyard, and then it can be specialed from the graveyard via its other effect. Plunder Patrols are a very interesting archetype insofar as I do not think they are worse than the Salamandrates, the Invoked Mech Knights, the things that are currently lurking at Tier 2. They're just very, very difficult to play. It's going to take someone who has a really good understanding of how all of the cards interact with each other, and finds a suitable engine to supplement these cards with to bring it to the forefront of metagame dominance. I'm hoping that Jack Chalinar might be that person. You can see here we've discarded a copy of Whitebeard, which will proc the effect of Whitebeard, which can be protocolled if they so desire. But afterwards, because this Golden Hair has 0 attack, we can go into an Almirage and then activate its graveyard effect to bring it out and make Blackbeard.
I believe this Golden Hair was special summoned, so this is tough right now.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. And I think the Silkatos is still alive as well. Protocol also still alive. Fortunately, they've shrunk the board down to specifically just Protocol and just Silkatos.
Well, Silkatos has been activated to return the Golden Hair to the hand after the normal summon. Protocol was activated, I believe, to negate the effect of the Whitebeard.
So it does not get more difficult than this, unfortunately. And yeah, unfortunately, that Almirage play is illegal since Golden Hair was special summoned onto the board, and Almirage is requires a normal summon monster.
We're going to see if we can get that corrected real quickly, but important to remember, Almirage does in fact have text on it. As a result, it is very difficult to engineer scenarios in which you can send it to the graveyard if your opponent has...
Pascal's got it. Great.
Pascal's stepping in here. That's why we love him. Folks, again, check out Pascal's stream. They are an extremely good player. They stream pretty frequently, and they are stepping into judge for this event in order to ensure things like this don't happen.
Yeah, great individual, very talented player, of course, one of very few people who have won a YCS, so take that for what it's worth. And it looks like we're going to try and get this all cleared up here.
It's unfortunate, but the Plunder Patrol player might receive a game loss for getting known information off of an activation of a card passed in a legal game state.
Yeah, and that is, they're now confirming the Golden Hair special summoned. And yeah, fortunately, that's similar to what we saw earlier with the Pot of Avarice with our, I think it was our Generator player. The activation of Salvage, therefore, would not have been legal since the Almirage could not be summoned, and Judgment being activated in response to Salvage, which was an illegal activation, does make the game state difficult to repair. Now
he's just a penalty right here. They're both going to receive a 1-minute time extension. Ooh, it looks like they're being allowed to continue from this position. Looks like we're going for the Golden Hair Graveyard effect as well. I think it's very possible we've just got a miscommunication here about what the issue was originally.
And we'll see if we can get that shored up as well.
Shored up. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm not too happy about it, but you know. There we go.
So, Plunder Patrol does a lot of very interesting. It is really, really fantastic when it's able to sit behind its link-summoned monster, Blackbeard, the Plunder Patrol captain. That monster is able to summon Plunder Patrol Xyz, Synchro, and Fusion monsters from the extra deck based on the card types that are in your opponent's extra deck and on their field. We're reversing the game state real quick and getting back to the scenario in which Golden Hair is stuck on field. But Plunder Patrol is much less powerful in scenarios like this, where you've expended your normal summon, you have no way to get to your Link boss, and you are at the mercy of your opponent's interaction. Looks like we're going to get a PE minor warning for the illegal summon, and the game state's going to be reversed.
Yeah, fortunately, our Altergeist player was perfectly fine. They said as soon as it was brought down or it was made aware that the All Mirage was illegally summoned, that they were perfectly fine with just repairing the game state, and we'll be able to continue with just the Golden Hair on board, salvage back in hand, and no harm, no foul. And yeah, you mentioned it, and this is such a tough scenario for sure. They just don't really have access to some of the more powerful Plunder Patrol extra deck monsters. Do they have a wind? My Plunder Patrol knowledge is small. We'll see where they go from here. I believe this should stump the play significantly.
Unless you mean, do Plunder Patrol have a wind? In which case, no, they do not. Plunder Patrol's big problem is they only have a fire, a water, a dark, and a light. Not that big of a deal, because those are, of course, the most relevant and common types in the game. But if you ever run up against a deck like Altergeist, which tends to end on wind monsters, you are going to have an issue. Marionetter might be good enough.
Yeah, they still have a little bit of follow-up here as they're going to use the emblem of the Plunder Patrol, which is just going to, once again, be met by solemn judgment as the game state has now been repaired and we can continue with normal play here. Unfortunate there is that Plunder Patrol, emblem of the Plunder Patrol, could have also gotten out one of the ships from the extra deck there, and at this point I think you are going to be looking at a pass on just Golden Hair. And it is just that. So now, depending on what these traps are face down, never mind. We can in fact get the multi-figure out, and we can continue with pretty much the most powerful line of the Altergeist plays. They're going to be able to grab Meloseek, go into Hextia, when they're going to be able to search for a Marionetter. Marionetter can search probably Manifestation in this particular scenario. They can then bring out the Meloseek using Marionetter's second effect, and they already have a Marionetter, so that's even better. And then they can go from there to get rid of the Shipyard. But the Marionetter will be negated, as Called by the Grave will banish the other Marionetter in Grave. Now, fortunately, they do have a significant amount of attributes on their side of the board. But unfortunately, as I'm now seeing, Golden Hair is not one of the Plunder Patrol that can tag itself out for one of the boats. And you're not running into the issue of the Marionetter being negated by Call by the Grave. However, Altergeist Protocol is still face up, and activated effects of the Altergeist cannot be negated. So I believe this will still resolve to grab another Altergeist trap from the deck.
Oh, wow. This is, I was hoping to show off some of the really powerful plays the Plunder Patrol is capable of, but these are not them.
There's always game 2.
We're just getting into a discussion of how Protocol works. Protocol is a very weird card because not only does it prevent activations from being negated, it prevents effects as well. That's a line of text that is not really present on any other AoE cards like this. And we're signing a ruling real quick, just like Skill Drain and Widow Anchor, which enable it to resolve regardless.
An extremely powerful card there. Like you said, I believe is just a very unique card in the game. I believe, yeah, in this case, the Marionetter will resolve, and then at this point, you're going to... The game is all but finished at this point. I think you might be better off scooping up the game, too, and hoping for a little bit better luck if you're our pirate player. So we're going to go ahead and get some confirmation from Skell about this particular interaction, the resolution of Call by the Grave, and then the continuous effect of Protocol, whether or not it will negate the Altergeist Marionetter. And, I mean, does it make too big of a difference? And
they're doing a judge call real quick to try and resolve this.
fortunately, we have our table judge here, so this should be resolved quickly.
And shouts out to Pascal. The PPG judging community has really stepped up for this tournament in particular. There are 400 people in a tournament that usually gets like 80. So they have been scrambling around and have largely done a fantastic job. And here we are just determining if the called by will negate the effect of the Marionetter, despite the fact that there is a protocol face-up and active.
Very impressive turnout this tournament. Bigger than most regionals. You usually find these at sometimes the Brooklyn regionals, Chicago area regionals, and I suppose California. So good to see a lot of support given the change with the amended ban list here. And of course, it has brought out a lot of Altergeist players, and unfortunately, that has been a large majority of the action we've had to bring you here. We do get the confirmation that Marionetter will resolve, and that's going to set the Altergeist manifestation. They will receive a 1-minute time extension, and will continue playing.
Gotta say, I agree with chat here. Imagine willingly playing Altergeist. There's so much that's playable in this format. We've seen a ton of Dino. We've seen Hero. We've seen Orchest Generator. Just these unbelievably powerful decks. Imagine looking at that swath of playable options and going, no. I want to play Set 5 Pass.
No comment.
I know you're an Altergeist stan.
Yay! I didn't out you about anything. That's crazy. Anyway, we're going to have Hex just swing into the Golden Hair, and then Marionetter is going to attack directly. But to kind of address the point, I mean, there's all sorts of different play styles.
Yeah.
I mean,
you did a successful job today of outing me as a scrub.
I think we've both done. I do that daily on my stream, and I know you do as well on yours.
Yes, I have never misplayed in my life. We're going to activate spoofing here, sending back this copy of Seek in order to get a copy of Multi-Faker. Double Hex via Multi-Faker. I mean, Plunder Patrol is a fantastic card on the draw, but I don't know how you're getting past this.
It's curtains at this point. We've finally, despite the amount of Altergeist games we've seen, this is the first time we've really seen the deck do what everybody fears it can do, and that's just use a lot of its pesky interaction cards, using Multi-Faker and Meloseek and so on and so forth, and Gang to just accrue so much advantage. And at this point, Altergeist, even with Multi-Faker 1, was always one of those decks that could really snowball out of control, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
All right, we're going to fire off Multi-Faker in order to get what I expect will be a Silquidius. And, scoop him up, Jack. Let's go to game 2.
Now, a fun fact about Hexia is that the negate for the spell and trap cards is not a once per turn. So you could, theoretically, if you fired one Hextia, manifested back another one, you could then do it again. Then if you summon Multifaker, you could do it one more time.
I do like the attempt on salvage. That's not going to resolve. Absolutely not. Oh, well, maybe it will. And that is going to be the end of the game. We don't even have a card to discard for Golden Hair. Scoop them up, friendo.
Yeah, no cards discard for Golden Hair. Nothing to try and use with the Plunder Patrol Shipyard. I mean, you really need to scoop it up to get to game 2 here, because time is of the essence in an event like this.
Oh, please don't pass. Have some self-respect. How old were you when you found out Hextia was not a once per turn? I will never forget when I first learned.
The first time I learned it was when I was playing the deck for the first time, and I read the card closely and went, "Oh, that's really good." Then I tributed a card, and then I immediately flipped a manifestation, and then they tried again, and I said Hextia, and then that was the turn they found out, and I was like, this feels great.
Oh man,
a fantastic turn of events for me.
All right, Marionette here.
I respect playing it out, but I respect it, but it's just not the right move to make. You know what I mean?
I respect it from like a competitive equity standpoint.
Yeah,
I don't as a you need to win this dang game standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that'll prompt the scoop once there's literally lethal on board. We are making it to game number 2. If I'm Jack, I am horrified. Plunder Patrol is fantastic as a blind second deck. Unfortunately, only okay blind firsting. You have to make a decision. Do you think you can out whatever Altergeist's first turn board is, even if it's set 5 pass? And if not, do you think your first turn board, which is likely going to be like Blackbeard pass, will be able to interact with them in a particularly meaningful way?
Yeah, it's tough. Now, unfortunately, depending on which Altergeists we might see, you do have access to a nice variety of extra deck monsters, since Altergeist does have a wind, water, dark, and light. Well, the wind doesn't matter, but it does have the majority of the attributes that you're looking for here. And if you can get a setup to Blackbeard and you can get the, Plunder Patrol Booty, the trap card, you can probably set yourself up in a pretty good position to win the game through the effects of cards like Bran and Mulwark. And, it is tough because you could side in things like Light and evenly matched, but your opponent's going to be playing some Judgment. They have that nice buffer of being up a game, so they can play a little more loose and a little more risky with some of those cards like that, those negates. We'll see our Plunder Patrol players starting.
All right, Whitebeard's a good start. Special Silent Angler is close to follow, and looks like we are going to be able to Blackbeard pass. It's all right.
It's about the best you can do, depending on what other back row you have to discard out.
I hate this card, by the way, Silent Angler. I purchased this deck in paper. You know this is a $7 card.
How old is it? What's set? I gotta wonder.
Feels like a 2011 card.
Yeah, because it feels like one of those cards where, you know how some other random card from Starstrike Blast winds up being relevant?
Duelist Saga.
Duelist Saga.
Printing.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, by the way. Ash blossoming the Bluebeard, or the Blackbeard. Ash blossoming the Whitebeard activation. That's actually fine.
That could be so much worse. Although, more bodies are handy, and usually I find when you're playing against Altergeist, you like to see them hand trap you, because that means that's one less card that is not multi-faker or a trap card, but followed up by Pot of Extravagance, it's a different story.
This is just kind of crusty. Meluseek's really only okay into this board. I'd expect one of these 2-set cards is Booty, which basically enables you to play past Meluseek. Looks like at end of main phase 1, we're going to fire off Blackbeard, and unfortunately by activating Ash Blossom, they've turned on the Fire Plunder Patrol, which destroys spells and traps. I'd imagine if they have any sort of protection, that's the one they're going to go into.
Yeah, the Meluseek, despite its small stat line, does present a very big threat here to whatever comes out of the extra deck. And if you'd really like to answer the Meloseek at any point in time, which I don't believe they have access to, because it will be able to go into Link Karibo, find a multi-faker, and then there is still 5 cards. Well, that's unfortunate.
I mean, technically you can do this. You get to draw an extra card, but I'm a little confused as to why. This effect is a hard once per turn. If you had something like a booty, it is way more important that you keep that. Ooh, red reboot the hit. They don't even care about the Blackbeard.
Red reboot going first. Interesting. So I was playing the long game there in that scenario, but at this point, I think it's smart to not really bother with the Blackbeard. You really can just rely on multi-faker depending on how actually broken your hand is. Well, set 3 is pretty darn good. Do you have more? Nope. Gonna pass on the Meloseek, so most likely, I want to say telegraphing a, what is that called? Altergeist Protocol here. We'll go to end phase to grab the Whitebeard off the Plunder Patrol booty, which will now get the Plunder Patrol ship Bran. And this is the one that can banish spell and trap cards, so this could be a nice swing of momentum here if they can hit the right cards.
For sure.
Storm Duster helps, considering that the Plunder Patrols do want their mateys, I guess, equipped to them, so that way they can become quick effects. And we're going to get a search here and pass over to their turn. So definitely, unfortunately, the heavy Storm Duster, I want to imagine, was probably the worst hit they could have found there out of the back row, depending on what they do have. And I think you want to go to battle here. I feel like an Altergeist Protocol has to be set here. Or even better, a personal spoofing. Now they can respond to this with the patrol ship, and they will. But, yep, Solemn Strike will shut that down as well. Very unfortunate. You're losing your Bran here, which was your most powerful card, and now the personal spoofing will get to resolve. And that's going to add the multi-faker, which is going to hopefully get the whole engine starting. Now, there are no more trap cards set. So if you do go for Soka Toss and bounce back the multi-faker, you're heavily relying on being able to draw into a second trap card.
Booty, you know, like being resolved and available for the remainder of the game is a fantastic scenario for this. I believe this is the activation of Booty here to get a copy of Whitebeard. Now, if we want, we can link off into another copy of Blackbeard. It's live, or we can just activate Blackbeard here, going once again into Bran, I believe. Might be wrong.
Yeah.
Depends. The multi-faker is coming down, so it looks like that was a Booty resolution, followed by a multi-faker resolution after the resolution of personnel spoofing.
There's a lot of chain links going on here, because there was also, I believe it was Golden here being discarded, or was it White? There's a lot going on here for sure. So a little bit of misclicks there, but the multi-faker has been revealed. And there we go.
Here comes the equipped copy of Whitebeard.
A little bit of flubs there, but we got there in the end. So we're still...
That says, Plunder player just refusing to play around Anima. No, you gotta respect that.
Yeah, it's a really good call out, considering, I mean, that would just be awful.
To get another brand here. Now Now the multi-faker is going to resolve. Now we're going to get the multi-faker. We're going to get the Silquidius. Silquidius pretty strong against this board.
Yeah, Silkatas is exactly what you need here. Now, I believe Bran is a hard once per turn, and it has already used its effect. It's used once per turn, so they will not be able to use Bran again to this personal spoofing. And I mean, unless they can find a way to threaten some extra cards here, this is looking pretty dire for Plunder Patrol. Although it might seem even, this is the scenario the Altergeist player wants to be in, assuming they have some follow-ups for next turn with some extra cards or something like a Netter.
I do want to make clear. I understand the series of plays is very powerful for the Altergeist player, but unless they can resolve the face-up booty and prevent the golden hair from recurring every turn, they absolutely will lose this grind game.
Good point. Yeah, now we're seeing, because I know every single flaw of Altergeist, this might be the problem where you just have way too much stuff to deal with at one time, and you can't really deal with it all in one turn, so slowly but surely you will get, like you said, you will get outgrinded, so that's a good catch.
I'm glad I'm here with the master Altergeist theorist.
Oh, of course, yeah.
PhD in multi-faker effect.
Yeah, I mean, you know, much like my hero, I don't remember her name from the anime, I also pilot what used to be a tier 1 deck and lose every single game.
Emma Besso. She opened Infip multi-faker and lost.
Yep. That's always been one of my favorite questions to ask the anime viewers that really religiously watch the Yu-Gi-Oh anime is, how does the main character playing just Cybers win any games going up against the Boral cards, the Topologic cards, Altergeist, so on and so forth?
Because they're playing pure Topologic.
I see.
There's no Firewall Goki Link spam in anime format, for example.
I see, yeah. Then, to be fair, I suppose the anime version of Boral Sword is strictly worse than the actual printed copy. Alright, so we finally get through all the effects here and get the Silkatas on board.
Alright, the chain has resolved. We've made it, chat. You and I together.
Lots of threatening cards on the board here. Nothing for the Silkatas to recover either. You know, the more and more I think about it, this looks really good for our Plunder Patrol player.
Oh, well. 2 minutes ago, you said they couldn't possibly win. Unfortunately, chat, they do not have a yard in the graveyard. It is a ship-shape ships shipping. Bluebeard from the hand here, and then normal summoning a copy of Whitebeard. That can make another link. On 3 of the link.
Yeah, I think so. I think you just want, again, this is kind of a scenario where you just have so many things threatening the Altergeist player that it becomes difficult to answer all of it. Going to battle phase here, they will have to remove the Bran. I mean, that is really the only target here that's super threatening. But then now you can start compiling a lot of your resources, especially now that this Plunder Patrol booty is already resolved, like you mentioned earlier.
Whitebeard to the graveyard, Bluebeard to the graveyard. Let's see the link to. Oh my god, that's some monster. Oh wow, White Aura Whale. If this card is synchro summoned, you can destroy all your opponent's attack position monsters. Okay, none of them. But if it attacks a defense position monster, you get to inflict piercing battle damage. And if it's destroyed, you can tag into another water monster.
That is great. It's super threatening as well against this current board. Now you're dying to the Bran, or you're dying to the White Aura Whale, which is... Didn't expect to see that.
Looks like we are going to cycle this booty off of Bluebeard's effect, and then we're resolving the effect of Whitebeard, going for a golden hair. I would have expected a red beard here, given we've already got a golden hair in the graveyard, but no big deal. Man, are we ever getting to battle phase?
This has been a slow game for sure, and you know, naturally we did have that little bit of a snafu in game one where we required some judge intervention. I believe they got a grand total of 2 minutes on a time extension, but we got a pretty decent amount of time here left in the round, so no
15 minutes.
Real rush. Yeah. Although,
all right, time for the battle phase. What is your Silquidius send?
We see a hover over the White Aura. I mean, you have to, right? But then again, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. This Bran is super, super powerful right now.
It's kind of frustrating because you're not able to get in. If there was a shipyard on field, I think either of these Plunder Patrol monsters would be lethal. But the Bran just threatening the spell and trap destruction at any point is just so frightening.
Actually going to bounce the Link monster.
Blackbeard.
Interesting.
Oh, I hate that. The Blackbeard as a spell and trap card zone was summoned properly. The other one was cheated out. So as a result, that Blackbeard is able to be reborn later in combos. I mean, I don't know. It seems like you should have gone for the White Aura Whale.
I think our Geist player is pretty well out of steam here as well.
And it gets 2 attacks, I believe, right?
On monsters.
Oh, on monsters.
Yeah.
Oh, so not going to be lethal just yet, but dangerously close.
Yeah, you've put your opponent on a 1-turn timer, and they still have to deal with Bran and Booty. And I don't know how they do it, especially if they don't have access to any more traps to use multi-faker. And spoofing doesn't help a whole lot either.
That says Revolver was powerful because he was the only one who played Staples. We could have led with Revolver just firing Extravagance.
That's just episode 1. That'd be crazy.
Activate Monster Reborn. What? No, sure, you win. Wow.
They just drop Pot of Greed.
I activate Dark Hole.
I mean,
what? This card's at 3.
If somebody told me that, like, in the anime, dude attacks and there are our hero's about to activate Mirror Force on the Borolo, and the Borolo goes, not so fast. Activate the effect, and now you can't respond to it. And I was like, how does this guy win? He gets outplayed. He also, not only is his deck strictly worse, he gets strictly outplayed every game.
The anime, Vrains, it was a mistake for a lot of reasons, but one thing it was very good at was convincing you that Revolver was really good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, oh, this guy kicks. If he was playing anything competent, he'd be walking all over these people.
Didn't dude play Salamangreat too in the anime?
Yes, there's a salad player!
Wait.
Did salad combos!
You know what? This is beyond science at this point. I don't... You guys can try to explain it to me, chat, but I'm thoroughly convinced that was just the most rigged series of the anime of all time.
Extremely scuffed, mega rigged.
Yeah. All right, back to our game in hand. We see another Pot of Extravagance and a little bit of time here to think. Marionetta is going to help a lot, though. Fortunately, their only monster in graveyard is a Silcaton, and that's not going to help you too much if you do want to bounce out your Marionetter. Theoretically speaking, if you were on Haunted Rock, you could have activated that the turn you set it to try and get the Multi-Faker out and go for some plays that way. But even then, that card is not very good, and then you're still having to deal with every other card that is currently face up, including Bran. And on the red, looks like we're having Plunder Patrol Booty is going to summon Whitebeard. And Whitebeard going to tag out for the Blackbeard. So I'm assuming this was all the effect of Plunder Patrol Booty. And they're going to continue to extend and make their board a little bit more impressive here. Which the light one is Mower.
The light one is Liss.
Okay.
You don't even know Liss?
Look, man.
So this is the end of the game. I mean, you know, not trying to play favorites here, but what on earth do you do?
Fortunately, the brand not activated in the end phase there to get rid of the protocol. That also gives you some valuable info that they do not have a plunder in hand, which is great.
Could be didn't want to activate brand to get the personal spoofing or something. Or you can check the protocol, right? Or was the protocol just set off?
Yeah, that protocol was fresh off of the Marionetter in this case.
Oh, yeah, then there's no Plunder Patrol in hand. All right.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go to battle phase here?
Yeah, no need to complicate this. You do have to consider the multi-faker, and there is presumably still one copy of Silkatos in the deck. But I don't think you... I'm trying to think. The White Aura Whale can deal piercing, so that would be the card they'd have to out. And I suppose that would give you enough chunk blockers to keep you from dying this turn. But we are going to go ahead and go into Liss, which is even better, but not particularly against Altergeist Protocol, which we'll see flipped here.
I mean, if you have an Altergeist in hand, or a Plunder Patrol in hand, it's now time to fire Bran, and what do you know, we drew one. We got a couple of draws to find it. Ash Blossom? Ooh, that's funny, as it does add a Plunder Patrol monster from your deck to your hand as part of the resolution of the effect.
Now, you could chain Liss to that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you could if you have another Plunder Patrol card. And they
looks like we do not. And so here comes the multi-faker. The multi-faker will likely get a Silquidius. I mean, is there still a way to do this? I feel like you're still just dead.
It's really tough from here for sure. Unfortunately, I've completely forgotten what everything is equipped to, but you still need to deal with the White Aura Whale. That is the most present issue on the board since it kills you if it manages to get its 2 attacks in.
This is a start.
Yeah. It's survival mode for sure right now.
I think you probably have to lead with the Bran attack into something like a Silquidius.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can engineer a scenario where the Kunkeri has to come down as the last monster. And if that's the case, then the game is actually over. We're kunking right now on this copy of Marionetter. Likely going to negate the effect of White Aura Whale. Oh no, Liss is the negation.
Interesting.
I do not...
Yeah, not particularly a threat right now, thanks to the Altergeist Protocol, and I feel like you would have used it if you had it to negate the Ash Blossom, therefore your brand could have resolved. And apparently they're pretty scared of it as they negated, now they will bounce it back to Silkatos. And another fun fact, Query is not a once per turn either, meaning that can come back down and negate the White Aura Whale. So it looks like they may have actually found a way to keep themselves alive here and potentially find themselves a win condition.
Negate the White Aura Whale, then it doesn't get the second attack. They get to walk over what? Exactly the Silquidius and then pass back. Whoa! This is extremely crusty!
Yeah, well played for sure from our Altergeist player here to basically know exactly what they needed to do and really carefully play around and take care of all the threats on the board here. Now, I don't believe the brand has attacked yet, so it can still get rid of the Silkatos, which is great since that is the second copy of that card, which more often than not is the last copy. Yep, and that is the play they want to go for here. So, Altergeist has bought themselves one more turn here. It's still... It's difficult for sure, but I'm trying to rack my brain on how they can win this, but it's hard to know without knowing exactly what that extra card is in hand. And you still have to be so scared of Bran. Oh. The Cosmic Cyclone's huge here. Removes Protocol, which was definitely the biggest card stopping this brand from straight up winning the game here. Now, interesting that they didn't activate that earlier on something like the activation of Spoofing when they went to go get the Query, but perhaps they just weren't too scared of it in that current moment. Oh, no kidding. So Blackbeard can be used in the battle phase, so we're not done yet. We still have Lisp can hit the Marionetter now. And yeah, now it's bad for sure. Conquiri, unfortunately, is just not a particularly good. Once it hits the board, this card is not very good. All right.
Oh, we've survived another turn. That's all that I care about at the end of the day.
Yeah, survival definitely was what they were aiming for here. You got to spoof back the Conquiri, and it's second cosmic. Interesting that those weren't burned.
And there's a good defeat. All that just to fold to a single cosmic cyclone. Oh my god, that was a heck of a game, and we've got 5 minutes remaining in game.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the story of this tournament. We've seen almost every single match has gone into time, and it looks like this one is no exception. Interesting that the Cosmic Cyclones weren't fired, though, last game to help deal with those. And the spoofing and the protocol were face up. You could have chained unless they were drawn later on after the extra draws from things like Blackbeard and all the other cards. All right, and to give you guys a little bit of an update on where we are, we have Eclipse was about 7 rounds now. We have 2 undefeateds in Random Brazilian and Bach Ninja 4, and then we still have a lot of other big names here. Ping Zhu is still sitting at X1. Safwan Rahman on Unchained is currently sitting comfortably in 7th place at X1, and there are still quite a lot of interesting decks still in the tournament here.
Oh god, I hope that Unchained tops.
That would be wild, honestly. We still see.
So Altergeist gets to go first, but has a rough time attacking directly with Meluseek if they aren't given a battle phase.
Yeah, fortunately, they have seen what they like to see here. Meluseek set 4 is very, very ideal. Now, if we see a Lightning Storm or an evenly matched, it's a much different story, because if you're aware of time, a Solemn Judgment, you probably take those out for game 3, but that is not the case. We're going to open with Shipyard.
Again, think about what interacts with this board profitably. If you're not using effect negation in Protocol, you're paying life points for it. And if the Plunder Patrol player is able to gum up the board enough, then it's going to really suck. Heavy Stormbuster is fine, but Shipyard is recursive. It can be added back. The Multi-Faker going to make it a little bit more difficult with a copy of Silquidius as well.
Unfortunately, you can only use each effect of the Shipyard too. So once they do recur it, they won't be able to they won't be able to use it again, which is great. Now, depending on what these 3 back row are, I almost feel like if you were confident enough, if the Shipyard being gone, you've managed to take a card out of hand, being the Redbeard. There might have even been an argument to go for Meluseek there and try to make a more aggressive play as time lines down here.
Yeah, see how we're doing on time. 2 minutes and 27 seconds remaining. But if this is the end of the turn for the Plunder Patrol player, it's also the end of the game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Silkatas bouncing back to back row. If there's any trap card you have that you can flip face up, even something like a Compulse, you can just bounce back your Link Karibo and just go off here.
This is interesting. Going to be met immediately with the Silquidius. No more normal summon available. Whitebeard in the hand. If the hand also includes a copy of Golden Hair, that was a huge mistake. But it looks like it doesn't, and Booty is just about as good as an individual card can get. If Silquidius has a trap in the back row they can flip, that will be the end of the game. Oh!
No. Better hurry.
Odd.
Okay, quick. Let's see what we got here. So, we can get Meluseek, we can go into Hextia. But no, there's zone management. They have to put the Hextia where the Multi-Faker is. So you have to link the Meluseek and Faker away. So now the Silkatas is the only thing that this Hextia will point to. So you could have got more damage if you summoned Marionetter. I think it should still be enough, but a little bit of mismanagement there. Not a big deal, but yeah, you definitely got
If you have a 2-minute extension, there's about 3.5 minutes remaining for these players. Going to fire off the Marionetter. As long as he just plays at the speed of sound, should be able to put in enough damage that the Plunder Patrol player won't be able to get back into the game.
Yeah, I think at this point, you switch that Silk to attack position. You're presenting 4,200 points of damage, which is barely enough to get you ahead here. And then, even then, you can end on a second copy of Hexja, and then assuming you have something like Manifestation in Graveyard, you can get up to 3 negates in that scenario. Or, no, it would be 2 negates in that scenario.
It looks like it's going to be 16, 8, is this 23, and 300?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that puts them 700, 1,000 lower than their opponent. 15 seconds remain in the round, and then we have 2 minutes of time extension.
And at this point, you're very far behind if you're a Plunder Patrol player. You still have access to Hexja, which can be used on cards or effects. So if you wait for that Shipyard to fire with its effect to add after discarding, you can wait till then to try and get a little more advantage. This is good, though. This is what you needed to start off with. But it is going to be met by Altergeist Protocol. I believe that is the Whitebeard effect they were looking to resolve there. Follows that up with the Bluebeard and Silent Angler. Okay.
Ooh, this could do it.
And like you said, if your negates are only another Solemn Strike, you can't use it here.
We're so close to time expiring. Oh my gosh, I'm on the edge of my seat for this one. Oh, that second game was a slog, but this third one they've been playing at the speed of light.
Yeah, judging by their speed, I think they both are aware of the current restraints they have with time.
Someone please intervene when the extension runs out. I believe Pascal Kim will be doing that.
Yeah, they have about 2 minutes here, as I believe time has just expired. So look at a little bit of...
about a minute at this point.
Oh, has it? Okay.
This is not terrible. They have a copy of Link Haribo, which will prevent, the important part of this.
Yeah.
It looks like Pascal Kim is saying the time extension starts now. You were right. It just expired. Right, so it's 6:51. I'll try and keep a handle on this. Looks like in battle phase, we're going to activate the effect of Blackbeard on Blackbeard in order to summon a fire or a dark. Mowork only has 1,000, so yeah, we will be going into Bran. Bran can walk into this copy of Silquidius and do a ton of damage.
Yeah, I believe the Silkatos hasn't been used yet, though, so this Bran might be heading back to the port there in the extra deck.
We shall see.
This would only be 200 points of damage over the Hexja as well.
Going for Silquidius here. The Bran returns. The draw has got to be immaculate. Got just shy of a minute here.
Super tough, too. This Hexja still has the ability to negate any potential spell cards. I don't think Emblem would really help. Shipyard obviously is dead. It is looking dire.
Okay, 1 minute remains.
Trying to rack my brain for potential ways.
On a pass back.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Personal spoofing at the end. Ooh, any amount of activations here is going to spell the end of the game. The Geist player already up on life. Only 30 seconds remain in the round, even including the extension. And, oh, this is going to be the end of the line for our Plunder friend. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, they made it.
And unfortunately, Multifigure hadn't been used either, so it's just more and more extension here.
Unbelievable. And Pascal Kim intervening says it is now time in the round. And, that is going to be a 2-1 victory for Altergeist. I cannot help but think, as we were saying in Game 1, the Plunder player has to get out of the match. They could have potentially done it if they were given more time to think about their plays. and interact with. Hey everyone, if you're enjoying the coverage of the Pro Play Tour Online series, just remember, you can play in one yourself. Every Thursday you can enter our free weekly 64-player tournament with invites to the entire Top Cut. Every Saturday is our weekend championship, where you can enter a YCS-type event with 100% payout and even a cash payout option. The more players, the bigger the prizes. Can't commit time to play in our one-day events? We also host multiple 8-man pods daily, ready to fire on demand on your own schedule. All these events award invites to our free invite-only Players Championship with prizes supplied by our sponsors. For more information, visit ppgeventmanagement.com and come play with the pros.